Doctors spend over 6 years in medical school, followed by rigorous years of residency, another 4, 5, or 6 on top of that, immersing themselves in the study of human health and disease, and they delve into endless research and refine their skills to offer the best medical advice for their patients. Every day, they emphasize on the importance of good habits, getting enough sleep, eating well, managing stress, and balancing work and life. Yet here lies the irony. Despite being experts in health, many doctors fall into unhealthy patterns themselves. Long, exhausting hours, frequent night shifts, skipped meals, and fast food breaks are all way too common. Often, the demands of the job leave them with little time for family, for friends, and for their own well being. It is a paradox that while they guide patients towards healthier lives, doctors can struggle to maintain their own. Hi, welcome to Utopia. I am a medical doctor currently working as an anesthesia resident in Switzerland. Many of those unhealthy habits I just mentioned have sadly become part of my own life. Several months ago, I got to try a new medical device that tracks blood pressure in a new innovative way through a finger cuff. I offered myself as a test dummy, and to my surprise, my blood pressure was around 150 to 100. For context, I should say that I am 30 years old. I lived my whole life in a healthy way. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, and I try to go for a run whenever I can. A week after doing that blood pressure test, I checked again and it was once again 150 to 100. And so that started to make me think. Other measurements while being at home, however, were completely normal. Another point of data that I found very interesting is that after seeing that, I started using a Garmin watch that I strap around my ankle. Garmin checks your steps, checks your pulse, and I suppose they get to the measurement of what your stress level should be. And with it, they also calculate your theoretical level of energy. And so I started wearing a Garmin watch strapped around my ankle while working and also in my private life. And the differences were crazy. The biggest difference, I have to say, was during my heart anesthesia rotation, which, at least in my hospital, is known as one of the most difficult rotations and most stressful ones. And during this rotation, I took some holidays and I went to Japan. In Japan, I don't know if you have been there, but you don't just sit on the couch. You go out and you walk and you walk and you walk and you try to do as much as you can. So during my Japan days, my stressful curves looked more or less like this. And then coming back to work, my stress curves looked more like this. Again, Garmin is not a medical device and it shouldn't be used as such, but it is obvious that they are getting something right. So the accumulation of this data started lighting up a light bulb in my head, which started saying and screaming, hey, what happens if you keep going like this for over 30 years? What is the compounding effect on my health if I do this 30 years long? Yes, super high levels of stress compounding over long periods of time can have long-term effects on a doctor's health, but there is more than just stress. As a consequence of lack of personal time after work, I have severely reduced the amount of exercise I do. My muscular mass has reduced, my weight has as well, and when I do go for a run, I can see and I can feel just how my performance has decreased in just these 5 years that I've been working. I think we all know what are the consequences of a sedentary lifestyle. So stress is bad and sport is bad, but that's not it. Now comes the diet. While working, breakfast has become sort of a luxury. There's rarely time for it. And lunch has sadly gotten reduced to just a sandwich. Especially in my case, I work in the operating room and have to change, go to the cafeteria, eat, change back, and I only have a 30-minute break. I just end up not doing that and just staying in the operating room area and just having a sandwich or a yogurt. I could bring the food that I have prepped, but I'll be honest with you guys, and this is my fault, but meal prepping hasn't been a thing. Like if I do it, it holds till Wednesday maximum. And if I do meal prep, then I don't have the time to do sports or to study or to sleep. So at some point I have to cut. Speaking of that, on top of stress, on top of lack of exercise, and on top of the bad diet, my job as an anesthesiologist brings the fourth horse of disease. That is bad sleep. Someone has to stay overnight. We don't stop operating just because it's evening, right? We keep going. These shifts in which you do morning shift, maybe 3 days, then evening shift, maybe another 3 days, and then night shift, maybe another 3 days. And then you get a few days of compensation, and then it repeats. As a consequence of that, after a few months like that, it's difficult to know in which day of the week I am. The circadian rhythm, it's broken. It doesn't stay the same for longer than a whole week. And yeah, I wonder what is the consequence of doing that again for 30 years. We know that our physiology during the night changes a lot. Melatonin and the hormones in blood is completely different. And if you're awake and eating, it just messes the whole thing around. Anyway, I'm not here talking to the camera just to cry with you guys. I'm just interested. To some degree, I'm worried, but I'm mostly interested about what are the long-term effects on a doctor's health by keep working like this for over 30 years. So I myself am going to deep dive a little bit on this. I'm going to start investigating a little bit, trying different devices, measuring my own health. And I invite you all to follow me on this adventure in which we will be testing some devices. We will be measuring physiological changes I experience while working and how my daily routine influences my health. We will also be checking some published data and some studies about this topic, and I would love you to be part of it, sharing your opinions, sharing your insights, sharing some studies that we can go through together, so we together figure out how stressful a doctor's life can actually be. You're also more than welcome to share how your health is changing as you are working and what kind of specialty you are doing, so we all know what's happening. And I'm sure that different specialties also influence in a different way. And let's get to it.